Welcome to Norfolk Perspectives. I'm Bob Batcher. And Eric, Neil, when I said water's coming inside the place, you got nervous, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because sometimes we wake up in the morning and, you know, they have that eye camera showing the water coming to the front, but you're bringing it inside the building.
We are bringing photographs of water.
Oh, I misunderstood our research.
Yeah. So we're bringing in an exhibition by the Canadian photographer Edward Burtynsky on the theme of water to the Chrysler, and it's a show that's going to run through May 15th.
All right, and it is an awesome show. And I understand your fingerprints are kind of on it.
You know, as you may know, I've been here not quite a year and a half, and one of the projects I wanted to bring to the Chrysler as soon as possible was this one. I had seen the exhibition before in New Orleans. It's about water, as I said, but they're beautiful images, large format photographs, 4 or 5 feet long, and a type of photography that has never been shown at the Chrysler.
Did you say 4 or 5 feet?
And some even longer, right, Seth? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that has happened in photography in the last couple decades is that the ability to print in very high detail but very large prints has advanced dramatically. The quality of the printers has just gone to a wholly new level. Okay,
so you have this lifetime dream of bringing this exhibit, and you get off the phone having gotten it, and you turn to Seth and say, make it come alive?
Pretty much.
So, Seth Freeman, how did you bring it alive?
Well, I think
You're
so.
on the sofa, so it must
I
have
think
worked.
so. It's you know, it's a big transition from the last show, which was Saints and Dragons, our Russian icons show. Yeah, and the scale is just totally different. When you walk into the space now, these images are enormous and really eye-opening when you see them from across the room. And then you get in close, and there's just this incredible detail in some of them. Really beautiful things.
When I've come to the stuff that you've put together, the exhibits, it just kind of draws me in. I think in my own living room, I've been known to hang a picture where there's a nail. How do you take it from a dream and take an exhibit that was traveled, and it's been in other places, and bring it alive at the Chrysler? What's the first thing you do?
So this show has a pretty clear organization, and it comes along with a book publication, and it's meant to follow a little bit of a linear arrangement. So we have movable walls in our special changing space, and we rearranged all the walls. Each photograph requires a lot more space than the small icons that we had. So we've arranged the walls so that you have long perspectives, big spaces. They also do really well on a pretty mute background, so we obviously repainted the entire space and got it looking fresh.
Now, do you kind of put the pictures on the floor and say, here, this is where I'll hang it, or?
So we, people used to do that, I think. Now we use
That's what I do at home. What's wrong with that?
Now we use software. We make a virtual model of the space, and we can move things around with the click of a mouse. It's pretty great.
That's right, because you've got something that's 4 by 5 feet.
That's right.
How far back should you be to really get the full?
Well, on a lot of these, we've designed the space so you can get a pretty good distance on them and take them in. A lot of them appear very abstract from far away, and it's a little bit disorienting. It's helpful to kind of puzzle with it a little bit. And then when you walk in and get closer and closer, lots of tiny details start to pop out, and you realize that what looked just like a wash of color is actually an agricultural site or a waterway or a rice field.
You know, Eric, I kind of started off by talking about the natural water in Norfolk and how we've been going through a process of really defining what a resilient city is about. This kind of tells that story, doesn't it?
It does. It goes through various ways that water is important for human beings, from the just pure natural beauty, but also the questions of things like the BP oil spill in the Gulf, but then moves on to the sacred, the Ganges River, or maybe beaches and waterfronts. So Burtynsky has sought to really touch on a whole slew of meanings for water, and the way very much how we interact with water, how important water is for us, but also maybe what are we doing to this resource.
Now, you've brought the coffee table book.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But it's more than just a coffee table book.
No, it's a large coffee table.
Wow, you got to have a large coffee table.
Yeah, it's really beautiful images, and I think in some ways when Ed put this show together, he conceived of it as in part a book project, that it's meant to sort of follow a path as you go through the themes of the show.
And don't you notice he's being very selfish with the book and he's not sharing it, but you can get the book.
You can get the book. You can get the book at the museum shop. Yep, and there's also an app that goes along with the show that'll be available in the gallery. So when you're in the space, one of the things that's really nice about it is that it has recordings of Ed Burtynsky talking about the work. So you get some of the story behind what he was looking at or what it took to actually take the picture. Oftentimes they're taken from planes or drones or helicopters, and so you get a backstory. And there's also a film that goes along with the works that will be on view in the exhibition, where you can see him manipulating a drone and getting the shot that he's after.
Oh. Seth, is it okay just to go in and say, God, that's a pretty picture?
I think so. And these pictures, sometimes you're looking at some environmental disasters. There's no question about that. You're looking at the BP oil spill, for example, and yet the images themselves are strikingly attractive. They really draw you in, and I think that really does something important. You know, he's puzzling through these issues about the environment and the way that humans use and manipulate the environment, but he brings you in and he makes it something that you want to look at and you want to think about, and that's something that's hard to do with environmental questions a lot of the time. So I think there's something very productive to this work as well.
Now, is it having an influence on the rest of the museum too, this exhibit?
Yes, so we have a number of exhibits that are on view at the same time that deal with themes of water and population. So there's a glass show by an artist named Norwood Viviano, and he's made these glass vessels that are sort of long. They're like sconces that hang from the ceiling, and they document population change over time. So if there's an environmental shift or something, the population would change, and the shape of the vessel will change as well. So they're also beautiful forms that tell that story. There's a second photography show on view that's a collection of photographs of the land. And there is a show by the artist named William Trost Richards, an American painter, 19th century painter, his visions of seascapes. So there's a lot to do with water. And as always, we have a ton of public programming going on, all of which you can find out about on our website.
Eric, Tiffany Glass, come on, is it still there?
Always.
Okay.
It's waiting for you, Bob.
So you've got the permanent exhibit, but even in that you kind of switch it up, don't you?
We do switch it up, and if you like modern painting, in the McKinnon Galleries we have installed our modern collection, so our paintings from the 50s and 60s particularly, to give them a new look, a greater breadth, and telling a little bit of a story about collecting in that era.
Because you still have a lot of stuff in the back.
We have, yes, quite
Right?
a few things in the back. You know, we have, the Chrysler has 30,000 objects. So let's say 10,000 of those are works on paper. Well, most of those things have some sensitivity to light, and we really can't keep them up and out on a permanent basis. And so we try to rotate as much as possible, and Seth mentioned this exhibition, New Light on Land, and that's drawn almost entirely from our collection. Many of these are objects that have rarely, if ever, been shown in the museum.
Right. Okay, we got a couple of minutes left, but I kind of want to find out, how does it work? I mean, you said that this exhibit is something that you've really been wanting to do, but it's in a world of art museums that you kind of operate. So some of the things that came with the Chrysler are now in New York or other parts of the country.
Sure.
So you kind of point at something and say, I want to get that here, or?
So it works in a number of ways. We get a lot of exhibition proposals, and also we have a staff, curators, educators, a lot of people who are very attuned to what's happening out there, and we have meetings on a monthly basis in which we pitch ideas, something we see or an artist we saw, and we talk about whether this would be something that would be right for the Chrysler. There's really an abundance of possibilities. And then we start dealing with some of the hard facts. Well, what would it cost to bring that? Or is this something that we've just shown? You know, we recently showed, Seth mentioned icons, or we had the Artist's Garden, American Impressionist painting. Maybe I wouldn't say that's what we need to do next. Maybe we'll give a little breather. Try to mix it up and have a really consciously eclectic program of exhibitions.
You know what? You just said something about word that triggered that I forgot to ask you a question, and we're almost out of time. This has to be an expensive exhibit. How much does it cost the public to come in and see it?
Oh, I forgot. It's free.
That's right. And it's been free, and yet the exhibit and the foot traffic you're getting is just tremendous, right?
It's great. You know, since we went to free admission, we used to have attendance about 150,000 people a year. Fine number. Now, in the past year, we were over 210, 212,000 in this just in 2015.
All right. Okay, I didn't ask you that one question I was going to ask about painting, photography, glass.
Well, we're talking about photography today.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to end with that because we're going to go to performance art now.
great.
So thanks for everything. When we come back, we're going to have some dancing.